Start the meeting. So, Laura, could you read the webcasting introduction, please?
I would like to remind everyone that this meeting will be filmed live or recorded and uploaded to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. Therefore, by participating in this meeting, you are consenting to being filmed and to the possible use of those images and sound recordings. If any public speakers on MS Teams do not wish to have their image captured, they should ensure that their video setting throughout the meeting is turned off and set to audio only. Members and public speakers are reminded to turn on their microphones before speaking and turn them off when they've finished.
Thank you very much. So, welcome to the Overview and Scrutiny Committee meeting this evening, the 18th of November 2025. I'm the Chairman, Councillor Baldwin, and I was going to say my Vice Chairman is, but Councillor McCann cannot be with us this evening, so I've decided to manage without a Vice Chairman. To my left is Nicola Sayers, our Legal Services Manager and Deputy Monitoring Officer. Jane Gould is with us online, and Owen Sparks is our Strategic Finance Director. Tracy Scott's with us in the chamber, is a Service Director for Customer Services. To my right is Laura Kerman from Democratic Services, and Matt Picking is webcasting this evening. We also have a number of officers online if they're needed. So we go to item 2. Apologies for absence.
As you've mentioned, Chairman, we've received apologies from Councillor McCann.
Thank you. Substitute members?
And Councillor Church is substituting for Councillor McCann.
Thank you. And do we have any other members? Are there any declarations of interest? Yeah, please, Councillor Lucas.
Thank you, Chairman. On the supplementary agenda, I would like to declare an interest as I am Chairman of the Board of Terra Verde Services. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Chairman, do you want to just clarify if that's pecuniary or non-pecuniary?
Oh, is that pecuniary or non-pecuniary?
Non-pecuniary.
That's fine. Sorry. Sorry, I just had to ask that one. Clarification. And, sorry, and then the minutes, which page 5, sorry. Oh, sorry, yeah, Councillor Balcon.
I've just had a text. Councillor Lyons had some teeth removed, so he's feeling a bit under the weather, so he might be here later.
Okay, thank you for that as well. That's noted. Right, so go on to the minutes, pages 5 to 7. Can we confirm the minutes from the 30th of September? Can we confirm those? Agree, thank you. Okay. And then we go to item 6, which is matters arising and outstanding actions.
None, Chairman.
No? Okay, thank you. And then we go to item 7, which is public questions and requests to address the Overview and Scrutiny Committee.
Nothing's been received, Chairman.
Okay, that's all good. And are there any, item 8, are there any call-ins? There have been no executive decisions called in since our last meeting on 5th of August 2025.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And then we go on to a more substantive item 9, which is organisation performance, the 2025-2026. This is the second quarter outturn, pages 8 to 34. So we will now consider the next item. Can I suggest that we first consider the performance indicators? I think that's what we normally do, don't we? Go through the performance indicators with a focus on the red indicators first, and then we move on to the projects, priority projects. So can I ask Tracy to introduce the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. So I'm just bringing the KPI outturn report for Q2 this year. So, and as the Chair said, we'll be looking for any comments regarding the red KPIs. Hopefully you've had a chance to read through the report. But just in summary, the Council has demonstrated good performance overall. So out of the 24 KPIs, 20 have either have met the target, so they've been green, or they've been within the tolerance of the threshold, with 4 KPIs requiring further action. So those four being around debt recovery, the contact centre answer rate, the major applications overturned, and fly tipping. So I'll just open up to members if there are any questions, comments or observations on any of those four red KPIs.
Thank you for that. Yeah, shall we go? Do you want to go to members at all? Which is focus on the red KPIs. Yeah, Councillor Murray.
Yeah, I don't know how to put it because I think we are doing the best we can, but obviously it is concerning, this fly tipping. I know it's a national issue and it's an issue that's affecting every part of our community, rural areas, but also urban areas. Probably smaller scale fly tipping in the urban areas, but it's still causing considerable annoyance to local people. And I just wondered, we've got an appropriate officer here tonight who feels, I mean, is there anything else that we could be doing that we're not doing to deal with these figures, or is it just something that we're going to be chasing for the foreseeable future?
Thank you, Councillor Murray. I'll just turn that question over to Mandy Thompson, who's online to respond to that query or question.
Tracy. Yes, I'm sure everybody's seen recently in the past week some of the shocking images that we've seen of some fly tipping. The teams are doing everything they can with the resources they've got. It's as you've quite rightly said, Councillor Murray, it's a national problem. We have just, I'm pleased to be able to advise that we've recently just had some extra funding agreed through the Safer Streets, where we will be doing some additional patrols with the police as part of Op Waxham, which is the stop check patrols, which was hugely successful in stopping a large number of vehicles that did not have the waste carrier licences. And so on. We are also got a number of measures in place that we're looking to introduce, such as the coloured bags, once they've been inspected by the teams. We're working very closely with our waste team and Terra Firda to see how we can have a coordinated approach, and we'll just keep sort of going at it really, and hopefully we will see a downturn at some point. But I can reassure members that the teams are all of the teams are working together collaboratively with our partners and doing everything we can to bring the offenders to court.
Thank you, Chairman. There may be other members who want to pursue this. I think that we're asking questions on planning Sorry, I do, apologies, I do want to ask a question on the planning red, but there may be other members who want to pursue the fly tipping issue.
Thank you for that. Can I go over to Councillor Wiskin, please?
Thank you, Chairman. It's abundantly clear that the fact that the main tips aren't open 5, 6, 7 days a week is part of the cause of fly tipping. And it's not just in Epping Forest, it's across the country. I've asked before, we should be lobbying hard to Essex County Council to get those tips back open, because it's quite clear if a nominal charge was made to traders to dump commercial waste, I'm sure many of them would choose that option. But when you make it very difficult for people to get rid of waste, whether it's commercial or domestic, these things will happen, such as fly tipping. And we really should be lobbying hard to Essex County Council, in our case, to open the tips more frequently and review the provision of service. I mean, I personally went to the tip at Luxborough Lane only a couple of weeks ago. Sure, it was midweek, mid-morning. There were 5 people there. These tips could be made much more useful. And as for having to take hardcore up to Harlow, in our case in Loughton and Epping Forest, it is beyond a joke. something should be done with the council, with Epping Essex County Council.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, Mandy, did you want to come back on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we do work with our colleagues in county. I will obviously lobby as much as what we can, and I'll speak to our lead member to see if there's anything more that we can do to encourage them to maybe reconsider that policy.
Yep, thank you very much. Yeah, can I go over to Councillor Morgan, please? Yeah, and
It's okay, Councillor Miskin just actually, not Councillor Miskin, sorry. I just said what I wanted to say about the tips and the fact you can't take hardcore and other stuff, so thank you.
That's fine. So, thank you for that. Yeah. Councillor Rackham, did you want to...
Yeah, thank you. My question is on page 15 about the total value of the sundry debt, which is outstanding and over 60 days old. An improvement plan has been developed involving employers from a number of services across the council. Can anyone give us any more information on that, please?
Yeah.
So the plan is in place. So what we've done, we've looked at the various aspects of sundry debt collection across the council and the various departments where those debts are raised and how they're managed. So what we've done, we've got some initial improvements that are being put into place, but they all take time to sort of filter through to that PI. So the plan is in place. The first stage has been implemented. It will take time for those improvements to filter through to the PI. We're hoping to see some improvements for Q3, so in the new year. But again, it will gradually come down. It won't be an immediate.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah, Councillor Murray, do you want to...
Mine's on the planning one on page 11. It's just the same question as I asked for Q1. I'm assuming Q2 is reflective of decisions that were made before the October changes. So really this doesn't become a useful figure. I understand it has to be generated and it's good that it's kept on the agenda, but this doesn't become a meaningful figure until we're past I don't know how long it's going to take, but this is reflective of decisions that were taken by planning pre-October 24 changes, I'm assuming.
Yep, thank you for that. Yep, Councillor Williamson. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Murray. That's absolutely correct. It's the lag in appeals going through the process. It's exactly as we expected, we would still be in special measures under these figures, but the government are well aware of what we put in place and are hoping that the improvements do come through, and we're really quite confident that they will do. But it will take maybe a year before they all get all the way through.
Yep, thank you for that. I was going to ask a similar question to that myself, because obviously I know that there's that 10% threshold which we need to be under. Otherwise, we will be under threat from the Department of, Yeah, the 10%
threshold is a government figure, not
exactly.
Reset, and we are aiming to be below that.
Yep. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yep. Who was it? Councillor Markham? Did you want to ask a question?
Thank you, Chairman. I have a question that a lot of local businesses and organisations are really keen to know more about. This is regarding the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. Could you please let us know more about it and how it will be distributed across the district, please?
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, Councillor Whitbread.
Thank you, Chairman. The UK Shared Prosperity Fund, there's a couple of different grants which came in from government off the back of COVID. So we have the Rural Prosperity Grant and also the UK Shared Prosperity Grant. There's a number of ways, basically there's an application process that different organisations can apply to. The Rural Prosperity Fund has funded some brilliant initiatives such as the Bumbles Green Playground, which myself and the chairman visited a couple of weeks ago. And the Shared Prosperity Fund has also funded some great things like a new playground in Loughton, various different community initiatives. I will get a full list published. This has been going on for a number of years, and I think We fund about 5 to 10 projects every year. The other thing that we've been funding is repairs to historic buildings. So the church in Faden Garnham received some funding. I also believe the Waltham Abbey Town Partnership has received some funding for King Harold Day as well. But I'll get a full list in writing over to you. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
Do you want to come back on that?
Is it possible to have that in an email at all, just so I can go back to the relevant organisations to update them, and if they want to put an application forward as well, that would be really helpful. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. We're just waiting to find out about future allocations, but yes, that's no problem. We're reliant on the government for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you as well. Thank you. Can I have Councillor Morris, please?
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to come back to the sundry debt question. Sundry debt outstanding over 60 days. Can we have an age profile for that? Last time we looked at sundry debts being written off, some of it was more than 20 years old. So I think we should have an age profile for the sundry debt.
Yeah, we have got an age profile, so we can supply that.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor George.
Good evening, everyone. This is for page 16. It's for the KPI on the contact centre call answer rate. Now, I know, Tracy, I had an absolute nightmare last weekend trying to contact them. And what I'd like to know, what is the average answer when they answer your call? Because mine crept up to over 20 minutes. And as you know, the palaver that was last weekend with my mum. So I'd like to know percentage-wise of how many relate to, say, a call-out for Qualis or a call-out for the car park, because, again, I was expecting a call back last time on the 23rd of October when we had a full council meeting, and they still hadn't called me back. So I would like to know the average of what the call time is, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor George. So the KPI in this pack here relates to the Epping Forest District Council customer service. So the service you're referring to there is once the council's closed and it goes to our call handling service provider. So I'd have to go and look at that detail, and I can come back to you with a kind of performance report on that. But what that red KPI here is more the contact centre that I oversee. So if you call during 9 till 5:15 and you come through to the contact centre about your missed bin collection and so on.
Okay, thank you. So it's only between 9 to 5, not in the evening?
So between 9 and 5:15, this KPI here is for the council, and then out of hours, so after 5:15 in the week, weekends, bank holidays, that's going to the out of hours call handling provider. So that's the external service. And I'll send you some, yeah, if you jot down exactly what it is that you're after, and I'll come back to you on that. No problem.
Thank you for that, yeah. I did actually note on, just on that item, that external new joiners are starting week commencing 28th of July. I wonder, was that, sorry, is that the previous 28th of July, or is that going to be next?
So that was 28th of July of this year. So
Okay,
in terms
yeah.
of the all the established headcount for the customer service contact centre is now filled, and I'm quite delighted to say as of now we've been 10 weeks in the consecutive green, so I'll be happy to give a Q3 report in the future.
Yep, okay, thank you for that.
But
Okay.
if I could just, am I okay to conclude the rest of the report?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so just to end, I guess, on a positive, in terms of the corporate projects, they're all tracking as green. Hopefully you've seen that in the reports. So again, if there's any, we've discussed the red KPIs, if there's any comments or questions around the corporate projects which are tracking as green, please do say.
Sorry, yes, Councillor Murray, do you want to come in there?
Corporate projects, yeah. I think I mean, all positive, but I do think I just want to say another word about the Broadway refurbishment project, because I was the one who pushed very strongly for this to be one of the projects, because it wasn't there originally, because it's such a big project. And I just wanted to say that, again, I can only comment for the road and wall councillors. We've been very hands-on as regards this project, regularly attending the Broadway Town Centre Partnership, getting detailed reports from the team that are managing it. And there's also a Teams communication group that the EFDC officers use to keep the ward councillors from the two wards engaged. But from the responses, it does appear to be the road and ward councillors that have engaged more proactively. I suppose that does sound a bit of a criticism, but perhaps they're quite happy that we're engaging, so Fairmead didn't feel they needed to engage quite so much. But I think that's fair comment, isn't it, Councillor Rackham? So I really wanted just to give credit to the officers again. This is quite a complicated project with moving parts, because you never quite know what you're going to find until you actually put a spade in the ground, and there have been some things that they weren't expecting, but it's been very, very carefully managed, and I feel that not only have ward councillors, but much more importantly, residents and businesses have been kept informed, and the impact on residents as measured by direct complaints must have been acceptable, because direct complaints have been minimal. I've probably, during the course of the project, received 3 direct complaints, and that's a very small number, and they've been dealt with immediately. So credit to the contractors, but credit to our staff who are actively managing this contract. I think they've done a very good job.
Thank you very much for that. Is there any other comments at all about the red KPIs? I'd like to say, yep. Councillor Rackham.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just ask a question about households in temporary accommodation? So figures have gone up here by an 18% increase as per the period of the last year. Have we got any key indication as to what sort of people are sort of turning up for temporary accommodation? Is it single people, or have we got households? I'm just quite interested to know, because I think this is an issue in other boroughs as well at the moment. So I wondered if anyone could highlight anything that may be a bit different from last year.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, well, can Dawn Howard can answer this question, please? Is it online?
Hello there. I think it is mostly families, but what I can do is I can get a breakdown of what that makeup is and then circulate that after this meeting.
Thank you. I think that'd be very helpful.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah, Councillor Murray.
Can confirm this, and I understand why she didn't want to go into detail, and she said she would provide the figures, which is exactly what Councillor Rackham wants. But I am right in thinking that in terms of homelessness legislation, we would only have a duty for a single person if they were either of pensionable age, had legal responsibility, or the main legal responsibility for a child, and then they wouldn't be a single person. So a single person only if they are of pensionable age, or they are declared vulnerable on mental health or physical grounds. So by the very nature, the bulk of the people we accept in will be families. Am I right in that understanding?
Yes. I think Jem wants to come in on that point as well.
Yeah, Chairman, if I may, just a point of clarification. Pensionable age doesn't passport you into priority need, so just because you are of a certain age does not necessarily mean you meet the priority need test. So obviously it is in some cases more likely because older people may have other vulnerabilities, but it's not something that passports you in. So I just thought it's important to clarify that point.
Thank you. Yeah. Are there any other questions on that particular topic? Before we move on, I'd just like to say something on page 11, just regarding the fly tipping, that I was very, very pleased about the report that's coming to the Place Scrutiny Committee about the operations to counter fly tipping. So I would certainly look forward to reading that report. And also, I'm very, very pleased as well that there is cooperation and we're working together with like Brentwood, Basildon, Utterford, in order to check fly tipping hotspots. So I think that's a very, very good thing if we have cooperation between districts, because obviously a lot of fly tipping does come from outside the district. So I think that's a very, very good thing. If there are no other comments, then we can move on to other substantive item in today's meeting, which is item 10. So let's okay. So, item 10. Where's my crib sheet? Right, so before we move on to item 10, we've received the report. Can members confirm that there are no specific areas for review or recommendations to Cabinet? Can members confirm that? Just to that we've reviewed the report. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. So let's go to item 10. Now on to the budget monitoring report, and that will be introduced by Owen. That's fine. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Chairman. I feel as though I should introduce my reports now because Councillor Patel has set a precedent. So just to briefly introduce my report, and then I'll hand over to Owen and Nuala for the detail. So this is the Q2 monitoring report looking at last year's budget, so the budget that we're currently going through. It's a slightly favourable report and improved situation since we looked at Q1. So there still is a 0.34 million deficit, but this is improved from Q1 where it was at 0.56. And we're still seeing the same pressures as discussed. Homelessness is increasing in significant pressure. Also around recycling, shortfall and planning overspend. These are the themes that we've seen consistently, I'd say, for probably the last couple of years, but with homelessness particularly becoming an ever-growing and emerging pressure. I will pass over for the main details for the officers to cover the report, but I think it's just also worth highlighting some of the positive ongoing projects in there, including funding for the new Epping Leisure Centre through the Capital Programme. The HRA is looking relatively healthy as well, and we have got an underspend in some of the house building schemes. It's good to see pick up of some of the schemes coming to planning, and hopefully that will come into fruition soon. Just in terms of ongoing risk, local government reform remains on the horizon and something which is affecting the budget shaping process for next year and the ongoing budget for this year. But happy to take any questions as relevant, and I'll pass over to Owen and Nuala. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So I'll open up to the committees. Any questions regarding that report at all? Yeah, Councillor Wiskin.
Thank you, Chairman. It might just be a typo. On page 46, paragraph 5.4, it talks about Qualis underspend about Hemnall Road Street property. Should that be 2026-27? Not. It is 2025-26 now, I believe. And secondly, it's not particularly relevant to this report, but someone please correct me if I'm wrong. When will we have a chance to scrutinise some of the output from Qualis financials? Because I don't seem to have seen them for quite a long while.
That's later this meeting in the supplementary agenda.
I believe that's TVS, is it not?
Oh, TVS. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
I'm talking about Qualis.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Because there is other members may have noticed the information in the Cabinet papers, which I have been reading. There are financial reports for both TVS and Qualis. I'd like to see some of the finances of Qualis coming before this committee.
Okay. Do you want to come back on
As you say, the Q1 and Q2 monitoring reports are going to Cabinet next week. But again, if Scrutiny wanted to call it in to explore that'd be fine.
Yep, okay. Is there any other questions or comments regarding the reports? I do want to ask a question myself, actually. That I do want to ask how much of the revenue, the revenue from the housing revenue account, is invested in the capital programme? Because I can't actually remember what page that was referring to, but I will try and find that. Or, you know, just basically what percentage of our revenues do we use as to invest in the capital programme, the housing capital programme?
So the housing capital programme, it does vary year on year. On page 46, it sets out the capital programme for the HRA. Obviously, the way it works, that is funded from revenue through borrowing. So it's not a strict like-for-like comparison from the revenue to the capital side. On page 46, it sets out details of the capital programme for the HRA.
Okay. Yeah. Is that a way of us minimising borrowing? Because if we can use revenues instead of borrowing, is that something that we seek to do?
So on capital for housing, what we do, we have to borrow the resources to fund the capital programme.
Mm-hmm.
But we do, if we've got any surplus revenue resources, we will apply that first. So that really depends year on year. And in this report, it talks about the reserve position being higher than anticipated because of the underspend last year. So, for example, we'll use some of that to reduce borrowing going forward. So, wherever possible, we use our own resources where we can. Otherwise, we borrow through the PWLB.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, yeah. Councillor Murray, can I go over to you, please?
This comment is only for the purposes of the webcast, really. The committee, I can only speak for myself, of course. It appears as if the committee hasn't asked many questions on this occasion, but it's worth saying that we asked a lot of questions when we received these papers on the 30th of September. So, because this is an important item, and I don't want the lack of questions to demonstrate, to reflect, you know, people, we're not interested. We asked quite a large number of questions that are minuted in the minutes that we've received tonight, and that's probably one of the reasons why the committee, and certainly one of the reason why I've not got any more questions, because what changes there have been, as the portfolio holder has said, has been very largely positive from Q1. So I just thought that was important to say that for the benefit of the webcast.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Murray. I'll open up questions, yeah. Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Chairman. I was just looking at the general fund revenue forecast outturn table that's provided on page 49. We had a budget of 19, excuse me, budget of 19k. That's now moved at the Q2 forecast to just over 20k, leaving 649 as the increased expenditure. Sort of two-part question, I suppose. Do we need to take any action on this, given that we're forecasting an increase in net expenditure over the budget? And if we do, what actions will be taken to manage this change?
Thank you for that. Yep, so thank you.
Yes, we do. So we do that on an ongoing basis. So as part of our routine governance process, we discuss the budget outturns at part of SLT and with budget holders, and they're looking at reducing expenditure where they can on an ongoing basis. Obviously, if we overspend, the only way we can fund that is from our reserves. So we set a balanced budget, so wherever possible we will have continued action to try and reduce that spend to come out on budget at the year end. So that's an ongoing process. It's sort of done corporate budget holders sort of on a monthly basis.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from the committee and also non-committee members? Yep. Okay, yep. Councillor George.
Hi. Just for a note, on page, what page is it? Page 50, the Q2 forecast is extremely blurry. I thought it was just my phone because I can't get internet on this to download the pack. But even on on your iPad, it's really blurry. So the writing is not clear, the figures are not clear. It's really, can everyone else see that? So even for looking through it, I'm like, what? So the figures are not very clear. So is it possible it could be redone and resent out to everyone, please? Yeah? Because I just can't work that out. I'm just trying to, but it's causing me a headache. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Suggest it goes in the minutes.
Yeah, I think we can, yeah, thank you for that comment. Yeah, I think that can go in the minutes. Yeah, and that can be noted, yeah. Okay. So should we go? Should we move on to something? Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. Yeah. Can the committee note the report, please? Is noted, yeah. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's move on to item 11, which is Chairman to report on their select committees. This is pages 52 to 54 in the agenda. So before handing over to the relevant chairman, I would like to acknowledge that there have been requests to ensure a high level of representation from TfL at the planned place meeting in January. Now, at this time, the liaison officers are scheduled to attend and address this meeting. This is the approach used by TfL, that they have dedicated and trained liaison officers for this purpose. So, they also undergo scrutiny at other London boroughs, neighbouring authorities. Last year, this formed part of the Overview and Scrutiny work programme. As previously agreed this year, this will be considered by the Place Scrutiny Committee. Members will have an opportunity to put forward questions in advance. This will give the Chairman, Councillor Parsons, the best opportunity to ensure an effective use of time on the night. And I'm sure that he will receive our report in this. Can the committee confirm their support for Councillor Parsons? Is that right? Yeah. Oh, Councillor Murray. Yeah.
Yeah, I've made my feelings clear on that issue, and I know members sometimes think I repeat myself, but on this occasion I'm not going to repeat myself. But a slightly different issue, what timescale are we going to give these folks in terms of the ability to answer questions? Because the last lot who came, I didn't think they had the ability to answer questions, but to be fair, their TfL organisation hadn't seemed to brief them anyway about the questions. So, I mean, we're going to get who we're going to get, and it's going to go to which scrutiny committee is going to go to, regardless of my view, and that's absolutely fine. I bow to the majority. But, you know, we need them to be able to come along and have some background and some knowledge and answer the questions that we have pre-given them, because that didn't happen last time. I know we can't guarantee it, but we need to give them a timescale. They need the questions, I would have thought. Other people here know much more about how large organisations work, but I would have thought they needed a timescale of at least 2 weeks for us to reasonably expect them to you know, come briefed on the questions we want to ask them.
And Councillor Parsons, do you want to address that, or?
Yeah, thanks, Chairman. I think last year we gave about a month to TfL, I think, for questions. So I'm hoping that would be a suitable timescale again, so that hopefully this year they can be briefed and come with suitable answers for us all.
Yeah. I believe they are scheduled to come in January, is that right? So, yeah, so there is ample time to be able to formulate and pose questions beforehand. So I actually agree with your comment there. Okay. Right, so are there any questions about that at all? Councillor Murray's already asked the question. Any other questions about that? No? So thank you for the update. Oh. No, we've done it already, haven't we? Can the committee confirm their support? No. Oh, Councillor Lucas, sorry. Yeah, my apologies.
Thank you. So the Community Scrutiny Committee met on the 7th of October 25, and the work programme that you see on page 52 of the agenda this evening shows the 3 key policies that were scrutinised: the decant, service charge and recharge policies. These policies will be considered by Cabinet on the 24th of November with a recommendation for approval. It is also worth noting that the housing policies previously scrutinised and shown in the work programme have now been agreed. There is still a wide range of policies and information from housing that will come to scrutiny, the Scrutiny Committee, and as you can see, there are a number of new items that will be presented for scrutiny. There has been a further change since the publication of this agenda, and the item shown as for future consideration, which is the Housing Tenancy Succession and Assignment Policy, will be presented on the 13th of January meeting. This has been an exceptional year in relation to the number of housing policies that have been developed and updated, and we thank the housing team for bringing those to scrutiny. I would also like to thank all of the members and, in fact, all of the officers for their commitment that they have shown to the scrutiny process, in particular with these additional meetings. Finally, there has been some progress on the recruitment of the co-opted member. This will need to go through the appropriate process, and Council will need to agree the appointment at the appropriate time. So I'll come back to you on that, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Lucas. Yeah. Are there any questions to Councillor Lucas on that report at all? Councillor Murray?
It's not a question, it's just a comment, and I understand why Councillor Lucas did this. She thanked everyone else but herself, and she's done very well this year in how she's conducted the Scrutiny Committee and how she's conducted our business. So as she was thanking everyone else tonight, I thought she needed some thanks.
And thank you, yeah, thank you, Councillor Lucas, as well. Thank you. Thank you for the update. Okay, I think now we can move on to item 12. Oh, sorry, Councillor Parsons, sorry.
Thanks, Chairman. So the last place scrutiny meeting was on the 14th of October. I was unable to attend, so it was chaired by my Vice Chairman, Councillor Sunga. First of all, the committee had an update of the planning changes following, well, the committee changes last year. Members felt that, well, some members felt they were happy that they could speak more freely on the ward-specific issues, but overall the report was noted upon a formal review from the National Reform of Planning Committee and the Scheme of Delegation, who published their changes, and I think it will come back for scrutiny at that point. Then we went on to the rollout of the blue bins, and well, I personally think that that's exceeded expectations and has gone very well, and I think the committee agreed with that as well. Then we had TVS and the performance update so far. Again, that's been successful, and the committee I think overall agreed with that. Lastly, we had Qualis and their grounds maintenance update. Lots of points raised from members, but I think they overall appear to be doing a good job since the transfer, and I think members did raise some queries, but overall we're happy with that. Now, you've already mentioned, Chairman, about TfL coming on the 24th of January, and you've raised some of the points on it. I'd just like to say that I think it'd be good if members attending, we could have a pre-meeting at some point before the meeting, just so we can have some structure about how it's going to go before we ask the questions, but I think we'll get details out prior to that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Parsons, for your report. Are there any questions to Councillor Parsons regarding that? Councillor Murray?
Yeah, mine isn't a question, Chairman. It's a comment, particularly as we've got 2 items in private on TVS, and I fully understand why they're in private. I attended Place because of the TVS issues, positive issues, I hasten to add. I attended online, and I just wanted to say that 3 things, please. I think from my experience in talking to the residents, that I live with and represent. TVS has been a success story. The rollout of the blue bins has been 99% successful. At Place, and I won't rehearse the arguments tonight, at Place I did go through some details around issues on the Oakwood Hill estate that I thought could have been pre-planned rather than dealt with proactively, but that's now sorted. And the other thing that I think is important is that the workforce, and I know quite a few of the workforce in Loughton, they're either ex-pupils or people I just see. The workforce appear to be happy, and I think that's important because I think we have to recognise it's a really tough old job that they're doing, particularly in the months that we're just about to go through. And my experience is that they do it well. So I just wanted to make those comments, Chairman.
Thank you for those comments. I'm sure many of us agree with those. Yeah, thank you. Can I go over to Councillor Rackham, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to take Councillor Parsons' request to have a pre-meeting up, please. I think it would be very beneficial and I think it's a really good idea. Can that just be sent out to all councillors, please?
Do we know that? Thank you, Councillor Rackham. Yeah, we noted the request for a pre-meeting, and hopefully I'm sure we can get one arranged. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I think then we can go on to item 12, which is the Over and Scrutiny Committee, the work programme. The meeting scheduled in a week's time, 2nd of December 2025, will follow the same format as previous years, which is essentially a workshop with the Cabinet to ensure members are up to date au fait with the budget process and the pressures to determine what goes in the budget. So this meeting will be an in-person meeting. It will be a private meeting. It will not be webcast, and I hope it will be as valuable to members as it has been in the past. So, yeah, in previous years, sorry. So, does anybody wish to have any comments on the work programme? Any comments on the work programme? Oh, yes, Councillor Wiskin.
Back to my previous comment about Qualis, it's on our programme, it's to be confirmed when the Qualis business plan is to be reviewed. I would urge that we should be getting on with that sooner rather than later.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, and I think it's also been noted. Right, then can we move on to Cabinet business, which is pages 70 to 79. So members and comments or queries on Cabinet business or queries on the forward plan. Any comments or queries on the forward plan, which is, as I say, on page 70, pages 70 to 79. Because the forward plan is reviewed and published on a monthly basis, isn't it? A monthly basis, yeah. So, page 57, sorry. Oh, sorry, apologies. Page 57. Sorry. It has it here on my... page 57, I'm sorry about that. So any comments on the forward plan? No? So, shall we go to... Yeah. In that case, we will move on to item 14, which is the exclusion of public and press. I would now like to move to the supplementary agenda, the report and appendix 1 of the TVS... Oh, sorry, Councillor Murray.
Well, sorry, when you read what you were going to read, Chairman,
yeah.
I only wanted to make one comment, which I think... Well, I wouldn't make it if I didn't think it was an acceptable comment. It appears to me, and I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, that's fine, that this was only on our agenda because I sent an email within minutes of having received a report. I think it was on Friday, I can look at my emails, saying this was going to go to Cabinet, and I sent an email to all appropriate officers saying, well, actually, I think this should go to scrutiny before it goes to Cabinet. And I'm pleased about the response, but the comment I want to make is that something as important as this, and I suppose it's a bit similar to what Councillor Wiskin is saying, something as important as this, the mindset should be, this goes to scrutiny first, then it goes to Cabinet. Because that's how the process should work. Something shouldn't really go to Cabinet and they discuss it and decide, and then we look at it afterwards. So I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, but that's not how the kind of email chain suggests the case. This wasn't going to go on this agenda. It was going to go straight to Cabinet next Monday, and it appears to me that it's only here because I asked for it to be here, and I'm saying that the officer mindset on an issue like this is that this goes to scrutiny first and then goes to Cabinet.
Yep, okay, thank you for that comment, Councillor Murray. Who could come back on that? No, that's just noted, okay, thank you.
You need to read the exclusion.
Right, so exclusion of public and press. I would now like to move to the supplementary agenda, the report and appendix 1 of the TVS business plan report. The next item are open reports, and debate on these aspects will be taken in public. I suggest that we only go into private session and exclude the press and public if or when details of appendix 2 need to be discussed. And the reason that the reason for that exclusion is set out on page 1 of the supplementary agenda. So can members agree on that approach? Okay, so we will try not to go into private session, but if we do touch on things which are commercially sensitive, then we will have to suspend the webcasting, okay, for obvious reasons. Okay then, so yeah, so James, sorry, can you introduce the report, please?
Thank you. So the recommendation is, obviously this is the Cabinet, but it's for overview and scrutiny to note the business plan, and we will take on board any comments. So just a brief overview that obviously Terra Verde Services was established in 2024. We had an initial business plan. A one-year business plan was set up. This business plan will replace that and sets out the strategic direction for 2026 to 2028. And Rosa is here as the Managing Director of Terra Verde Services, and we'll take you through a presentation and go through a bit more detail of the business plan.
Okay, thank you. Yes, my name is Rosa Tanfield. I'm the Managing Director of Terra Verde Services. I am going to share some slides, so hopefully the technology will work, so give me one moment. Wonderful. Okay. So as James said, Terra Verde Services was set up a year ago this month, and we're very pleased to have celebrated our first birthday. But I thought I'd just start this presentation just by a little bit of an introduction into Terra Verde Services, who we are and what we are. So TVS for short, Terra Verde Services, we deliver essential services for the residents in Epping Forest. Street cleansing is one of our primary roles, and street cleansing means things like litter picking, bin emptying, weed removal, fly tip clearances and special household collections. Our other core function is managing recycling and waste collections, again for every household in Epping and some businesses throughout the entire year. Now TVS is wholly owned by EFDC, and that means that the council holds 100% of the shares in the company. And what that means then is that our values within TVS and our priorities are really closely aligned to the council's, and much of the work that we do is connected to the council and also the Qualis teams as well. We exist as a company to do three main things. One is delivering high quality services for residents. Secondly is about providing value for money and reinvesting surpluses back into service improvements. And thirdly, ensuring that EFDC meets its statutory obligations. Now, in achieving these things, there's two essential things that underpin how we do that, and that's our people and our fleet. Firstly, our workforce. They're the backbone of TVS. From day one, we've focused on stability, well-being and development. So as a result, we've seen quite low levels of turnover and minimal absences. We've got strong engagement with the GMB union with a formal recognition in place, and we have regular meetings with them. The staff have wellbeing support through our employee assistance programme, 24-hour GP line and lifestyle benefits, as well as structured training. On safety, we've embedded a proactive culture. So we've got a dedicated health and safety specialist. We have comprehensive induction and toolbox talks, and also onboard CCTV, along with weekly inspections and monthly audits. Now, every successful collection that we make, whether that's a litter bin or a household collection, that relies on well-maintained fleet and a dedicated team. Now, the council has leased its fleet, which TVS operates through a company called Specialist Fleet Services, SFS, who maintain the fleet in partnership with TVS at the new operations hub at the North Weald Airfield. Now, in making the decision to set up a new company to deliver these essential services for residents in Epping, the council also made a commitment to provide the right environment for that workforce. And after many months of planning and delivery, the new operations hub opened this month. And this provides us with really high quality facilities for the 140 staff who, as I said, keep every property served and every street clean through heat waves, storms or icy mornings, as we're now starting to experience. Now, the council's investment in that hub really does reflect its commitment to enabling TVS to be successful. So, as I said, we've just celebrated our first birthday, and I'm really pleased to report that in that first year, we've delivered measurable results. 140 staff have transferred seamlessly from the contractor into the new company. We make 470,000 individual collections every month, and we're achieving 99.9% of those collections. Missed collection complaints are down 22%, and compliments are up 50%. We've also managed to provide a surplus financially in the first 5 months of operation, which has been returned back to the council. And the start-up funding that was ring-fenced, we've also been able to return some of that as well. And we've started investing in new street cleaning equipment. So tonight you have the business plan that we've prepared. Under the governance agreement between the council and TVS, TVS must adopt a business plan each financial year, and with EFDC as the sole shareholder approving its adoption. Whilst the requirement is annual, what I've looked to do is create a plan that looks ahead to March 2028, so that it aligns with EFDC's medium-term financial planning and also local government reorganisation. And this longer view helps support some strategic planning and operational stability as well. So I'm going to talk to you through just a few of the aspects of that plan. In local government, we love an acronym, don't we? And this slide kind of represents that, but don't worry, I'm going to talk you through it. As we look to the years ahead of the plan, from 2026 to 28, it's important to understand that TVS operates within a complex and evolving landscape, shaped by both statutory duties, but national reforms and local government changes as well. So EFDC is a waste collection authority, and under the Environment Protection Act 1990, it has a legal duty to provide comprehensive waste collection services. So TVS operates as its strategic delivery partner to do that, to support those obligations and contribute to wider environmental goals such as improving recycling and reducing residual waste. EFDC also works with Essex County Council and other district councils through the Essex Waste Partnership, EWP, delivering the waste strategy for Essex 2024 through to 2054. It's a 30-year vision aligning local services and national policy. Next up is the Environment Act 2021 and the collection and packaging reform. Now that introduces major reforms around something you may have heard of called simpler recycling, which is about standardising collections across England. Extended producer responsibility, where costs for producing material is shifted to producers and then repaid into local authorities and collection authorities. And the deposit return scheme, a project or an initiative, that's aimed at reducing litter and boosting recycling through a deposit for drinks bottles. That's to come later on. Key milestones run throughout 2025 through to 27. So it requires agility and innovation, and TVS is preparing through operational readiness and infrastructure planning to meet these changes. Of course, you can't have a slide without talking about local government reform, and plans for unitary councils in Essex are obviously progressing, as you'll know, with those proposals expected early in 2026. So TVS is positioning itself to remain resilient and future ready for those changes as they happen. And then finally, the ERB, the Employment Rights Bill 2025, that's bringing significant changes. For example, day one rights, expanded family leave and stricter compliance. And TVS will be proactively adapting its policies to maintain fairness and operational excellence as this progresses as well. Now, the business plan, in the context of all of these elements, we set out what we're aiming to achieve and how we'll deliver it. So our ambition over the next 3 years is about building on the already strong foundations of performance that TVS has developed since day one, and making sure that we position TVS as the company of choice within the new unitary authority as local government reform begins. And this is going to be underpinned by a detailed action plan that will be developed after approval of this business plan, and that will guide our priorities, operational improvements and growth opportunities as we go forward. We'll remain committed to transformation across all areas of the company while exploring opportunities for greater alignment with the council and its family of companies and potential partners. And we're going to focus on 4 key priorities, each which are critical to our success. So first up is, the first priority is service quality. We'll expand food and garden waste collections, improve street cleanliness with new equipment and strengthen communication with residents. We'll also it's late in the day now, I'm struggling with my words. We'll also work towards operational accreditation to demonstrate excellence and raise TVS's profile through case studies, professional website presence and industry recognition. Next is about value for money. We'll deliver services within budget, generate sustainable surpluses and optimise working arrangements with the EFDC. We'll also explore new business opportunities, presenting robust proposals to the board to support growth and diversification. Our third priority is about statutory compliance, and we'll support the council in meeting the Environment Act requirements that I've outlined earlier, including food waste rollout and flexible plastics. We'll maintain high health and safety standards, as we already do, and comply with all regulatory obligations, including fleet licensing. This will ensure that TVS remains a trusted and compliant partner. And fourthly, our people and our communities. We will invest in training and apprenticeships, support local employment, and implement succession planning for future leadership. We'll foster a positive workplace culture and contribute to community initiatives, strengthening our relationships and delivering social values. So those 4 priorities, high quality services, value for money, statutory compliance and our people and communities, they're all at the heart of our business plan and our focus for the next few years. They're going to set the direction for how TVS will continue to deliver for residents, support the council's ambitions and prepare for the future. So with that overview complete, I'd like to thank you and ask you for any questions.
Thank you very much for your report, which is very, very insightful and very, very interesting. So open things up for questions. Councillor Barnard, please.
Thank you. Having had discussions before, I thought we had charging for green bins coming in. This doesn't seem to be mentioned in here. And the splitting of food and garden waste and distribution of small food bins, none of that seems to be in here.
Please, Councillor Whitbread or Councillor...
Yeah, thank you. I shall probably hand over to Councillor Balcom, but this isn't a place to talk about green charging. That's a separate issue to do with the budget process, and we'll come through on that piece. I don't know whether you want to say any more about the other Ferris bins.
No. I suppose I would just add to that, as you know, we will be splitting the waste, food waste and garden waste on March the 31st, I think is the correct date, isn't it? Because that is when the changeover happens, but as Chris said, it's down to the budget now on the costings.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I go to Councillor Rackham now, please?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for your report. I'm quite interested in this street cleaning equipment that you're talking about. Many of our streets and many of the complaints I get about how our streets are covered with weeds, and then we get blocked drains and things like that because there is so much foliage everywhere. Can you tell me if the street cleaning equipment will go to some way to actually address these problems? Thank you.
Yes, I can talk to that, and James may want to come in, because TVS and the council have been working collaboratively on that this year. Do you want to talk initially about the weed spraying, and then I can talk about equipment?
Apologies for repeating myself. I think I've sat here and said this before. Yeah, we are. So part of the investment in the street cleansing machine is to try and address the issue of street cleansing and weed spraying. It is the old argument that it's a function that Essex Highways, Essex County Council have the responsibility for the weed spraying, but that's given to we're given funding to carry out weed spraying. It's around £32,000. The cheapest quote we got this year for weed spraying was £24,000. So that's one spray. Ideally, we would be doing 2 sprays per year. It did take us some time to secure a contractor to carry out the weed spraying for £24,000. So that's kind of taken place now, and we are following up. We have a new piece of kit that rips up the weeds, so we are using that in conjunction, and we're having ongoing conversations, lobbying at county to try and get more money for the weed spraying, but we also are working very closely with TVS and Rosa in terms of what else can we do to improve it. So yeah, we are aware it's something that we are working towards.
So I can just add to that. So the weed spraying is happening now, as James said. It's a bit late in the year, and we're working with the officers to look at that weed spraying happening much earlier next year, so that we can have a head start in how we treat weeds going forward. In addition, since launch, we have, again, we've grown our fleet, so we've got an extra road sweeper, which is helping with the gully edging and leaf fall, particularly at this time. It's come at a good time for us. And as James said, we've also invested in a weed ripper, for want of a better term, that negates the need for the staff manually hoeing the carb lines, which is what they have been doing. It's very manual, very time-consuming, very slow. So we've got one, and it's been really effective. So we want to continue to see how that goes forward and monitor the progress. In addition, TVS is invested in some leaf blowers as well. So combined with the additional road sweeper, the weed ripper, the leaf blowers, we should start to see real good improvement over the autumn. And then if we can get the weed spraying done earlier in the year next year, what we do is we work collaboratively with the contractor. We know exactly where they are. We follow up once the weeds start to die back. You then remove the dead weeds, because if you don't, you leave it, it turns into soil because it decomposts in the curbside. So we're following it up as soon as they're dead so that we can rip them out, hopefully at the root. And there will still be some growth coming back, but hopefully it won't be as much as it has been this year.
Thank you for that. Yep. So, Councillor Murray, did you want to come in? I've had you down here for a while.
Yeah, I did want to come in on.
Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, and the officer did catch my eye, or I caught her eye. On this issue, I think we need to make another plea like I did at Place. We've got the Chancellor of Essex sitting in front of us. His title, not the title I give him, I call him Councillor Chris Whitbread, but we have got the Chancellor of Essex in front of us, and we need to just say publicly again, Essex Highways are letting us down. They're not giving us enough money for 2 sprays. Yes, we need to put our hands up and say, for whatever reason, and there may well have been good reason, we didn't get a contractor in place particularly quickly to get 1 spray done, and there may have been very good reasons for that, and I don't really need to hear about them tonight, but we can't afford a 2nd spray, and that's because Essex Highways or Essex County Council are not giving us enough money. So I am sure the Chancellor of Essex has heard that loud and clear, and he will take whatever steps he needs to rectify the situation. Obviously, he might want to come back at some stage. I have seen an improvement, and that's good. You've talked about the implementation of the blue bins, and we've referenced that a little bit already tonight. I've definitely seen an improvement in terms of the amount of litter, because recycling bags were one of the, not the only, but one of the key sources of litter, so that has helped with that. I agreed with all your plans going forward. I've just got one very precise question, and it is something I bang on about because it's something I'm passionate about. I was really pleased that the board, and it may have been the initial board, made a decision to recognise trade unions. I thought that was really important, particularly in this field of employment. I just wondered, and you've commented tonight a number of times how important your workforce is. I wondered whether consultation with union representatives was done on an organised basis, or is it as if an issue arises and representatives ask for a meeting, that's how you have meetings, or do you have a more formal mechanism as a company to talk to your union shop stewards?
I think I'll ask the Chancellor of Essex to respond, if he so wishes.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Councillor Murray. I think the important thing is here, from the County Council's point of view, is we put probably more money into highways than most other authorities. In fact, I think there's some facts coming out very shortly that we're one of the top spenders on additional funding for highways, remembering how much has been cut back in recent years. Of course, we have to make very tough decisions with highways because there's issues that we have to deal with. Maintenance of our highways is the most important, and you would have seen the large number of potholes that are getting filled now across Epping Forest and other parts of the county. So we have to make tough decisions, just as you will have to make tough decisions on the District Council's budget in the weeks and months ahead. So I doubt very much there'll be additional funding this year on those issues, although we did put more money into vegetation last year as a county council as part of the extra monies that we provided for highways. But let's be honest, there is no magic money tree anymore. All savings are really difficult, and you've got to climb to the top of the tree. We are, like every other authority across the country, working hard to find savings on a regular basis, and I think if you looked at the savings targets we have to do to fill our gap every year whilst keeping council tax as low as possible, at the county council you would start to feel the pain that we feel when you're looking at millions of pounds worth of savings on a regular basis. So I don't think you'll see additional money for weed spraying coming through. I think it is down to us as a council, and we've seen the innovative ways that that has been dealt with by TVS and in conjunction with ourselves as District Council. And I think that says a lot. I will just say, and didn't have a chance earlier, and I'm sure that I know the Place Committee are likely to take a meeting to the new hub very soon. In its lovely meeting room with views over the airfield. I have to say it's very impressive, and the operation that's been put together is very impressive. I know that in the near future, Jen Gould is organising for the Place Committee to have a meeting from there. We mentioned it yesterday. It was really good to celebrate the first year of operations yesterday. They have done particularly well, and it's really, and I'm sure Councillor Murray would agree, apprenticeships, social value that they're bringing to the agenda as well. Really proud. The workforce are superb and really dedicated to what they're doing, and that shone through, and has shone through time and time again. So we should applaud the workforce and the way that they've bedded down in the new system. I've seen so many waste contracts like Councillor Murray over the time that have come into place, and the teething problems normally are horrendous. But this has not been. It's been first class. Well done. The team have worked extremely hard. Rose has been involved from day one, first on the board and then as its managing director now. And of course, Jodie and everyone has worked hard, and Ray has worked tirelessly as well. So I think we should applaud what's been achieved. I can't wait for everybody to have the opportunity to see the new hub. It really is brilliant. It's in the right location. It works perfectly from that point of view as well. It's got all the latest technology that our waste people need, and we are really fit for change, which is good news for Epping Forest, good news to whoever we eventually partner with as a unitary, and it bodes well for the future. But there are, what I like most of all about what TVS has been doing, it's not afraid to innovate. Yes, we have got to change. Yes, we have got to separate food waste and garden waste. Yes, that will be a problem to us. Yes, that will be an issue for the budget coming forward. But you should really take heart in what's been done so far.
Thank you very much. Rosa, did you want to reply to the comments from Councillor Murray and Councillor Whitbread?
Yeah, so thank you for the lovely compliments, but I will come back to your question around the union and engagement with the union. Myself and my senior business manager meet with the union reps on a almost monthly basis, on a fairly regular basis, with standard agenda items, of which we raise anything that's relevant at the time. And in addition, we consult with the union rep on any particular changes, particularly around health and safety policies, risk assessments, operating procedures. We make sure that they've had a look through and have fed back. So I can give you an example. One of the first meetings, they raised with me a couple of things that they were concerned about. I gave them the answer, which they were satisfied with, but pushed it a little bit more in terms of wanting to confirm it. And actually, I recognise that it wasn't in the employee handbook. So we've introduced a couple of things on the back of points that they've raised and formalised them within handbooks, which they've been satisfied with. So yeah, it's been valuable.
But really pleased to hear that answer. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you as well. Thank you for that response. Can I go to Councillor Wiskim, please?
Thank you, Chairman. I did ask a question at the very good presentation which TVS did with the rest of the Council on waste disposal last week. I would like to echo that I think the work being done by TVS is excellent. The operatives I've stumbled across have been polite and hard-working, and they continue to do so. I think it's a credit to them and the operation. However, the gap is the weeds. I glibly made the comment that if there has been a surplus made by TVS, maybe that should be spent on cleaning up the weeds.
Okay, Rosa, do you want to come back on that?
Sure. As I said, we're doing a lot now to counter that, probably a bit later in the year than we would have liked. So we'll see how that progresses, and we'll work with the council on looking at what investment is needed to take that forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Can I go now to Councillor Morgan, please?
Thank you.
First of all, I've got to say, everybody's saying how wonderful it is. I'm quite disappointed that we're actually only doing the weeds now, because you actually should do them when they're actively growing, and obviously they're not actively growing now, so that I'm really disappointed with. But we did mention the weed ripper, the weed ripper, can't say that, it's a bit of a tongue twister. I would like to know how much it costs versus the manual cost. And one of the questions I asked previously to Councillor Vakovich, he'll love this because can't have a meeting unless I ask Ray a question, is do we have a cost yet for the street cleansing machine that you mentioned, please?
Not to hand at the moment, but I will get back to you with that cost. And
just for clarity, so the council, with the mechanical sweeper that I've talked about, the additional one, it's leased through SFS, the company that I mentioned earlier, via the council. The council has that contract, so we can provide you with those costs, outside of this meeting.
Yep.
Thank you. Could you make sure you provide it to everybody, please? And the cost would be good because I'm still waiting from the last meeting and still haven't received it. So the sooner the better. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I now go to Councillor Morris, please?
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, thanks. It's a great report. I enjoyed reading it. I just had a couple of questions. On page 19, it mentions profit generation. Do you have any policy on how profits generated will be used? For example, will they be reinvested in the business or will they be paid out as dividend to the 100% shareholder, which is EFDC? Excuse me, EFDC. And second question is about the very outlined sort of P&L budget you've got on page 28. It'd be really helpful to have a little bit more explanation about what the lines in there mean. I mean, we've got, cost of sales, overheads and so on. So I just find it helpful to have a bit more explanation about each line in that report to understand how your budgets are being structured. Thank you.
Yep. So we need to stop that. Okay. So we need to go to the second question.
Yeah, just to clarify there, so the first question we're okay for open session, but the second question is restricted, so we would have to stop the webcast at that point.
Unless it can be answered generally.
Unless it's more kind of a general nature, yeah.
I don't know what the answer is going to be, so I can't really say.
Yeah.
I'd be more comfortable in answering those questions under part 2, if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine, yeah. So shall we go now?
Well, see if there's anything else, if there is.
Yeah.
See if there's
Check
any
if
other
there's
questions.
anything else, because we'll do with part 2
and then we
altogether.
can close the meeting. Yeah?
Can Rosa answer the question now?
Sorry, I'll just say this slightly louder so that there's no... anything that you can answer in open session, we'll open in an open session. It needs to go into private session. If this works, we're going to just hold that question and answer, finish the questions, finish the paper, and then we'll close the meeting. I hope that makes it clear for the webcast as well as everything else.
Can't go like a yo-yo, so deal with anything that people want to ask him. That's part 1, and then move to part 2 as a final part.
So for clarity, if I can answer both those questions under part 2, is that okay? Thank you.
So you need to find out if there's anything else people want to discuss.
Yep, so is there anything else people would like to discuss? I mean, in terms of actually detailed financial information. Is there any questions on that? No.
Note the report, but open session.
So we'll note the report for the open session. Okay, shall we go into the... Okay, so now we'll cease the webcast.